I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic today because I went to a library sale yesterday and picked up a whole bunch of old books and a bunch of CDs. And the CDs alone would have been hundreds of dollars. Like the number of CDs I got is absurd. And I got all these books and all these CDs, and I spent about 20 bucks. One, because it was a good deal, and two, because physical media is not really in fashion at the moment. And it's got me thinking about my nostalgia for physical media and having a box to go with the game that I bought. I'm not just talking like an Xbox box, like a classic jewel case maybe for a PS1 game. I'm talking those big, meaty cardboard boxes that are way, way too big for the game that they contain. The kind of box you got with like Baldur's Gate back in the day. Actually, that might have been the smaller iteration of those big old boxes, but no, I think those were the big ones. Anyway, I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about some art, some drawing, journaling, actually. That might be a fun topic today, and I might talk about The Hobbit too cuz I just watched the Hobbit movies for the first time. I won't get too deep into that because I don't want it to get too negative. This is Game Develop Repeat. As always, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. I want to start by posing an odd question to you as a gamer and then as a game developer. As a gamer, do you want physical copies of things? And would you rather have a fully physical copy? Do you want your entire Steam library to be taking up room in your house? Would it limit how many games you buy? Would it make you think twice before you pick up that sale of like 20 games for $5 or not? There are benefits to having digital copies. Personally, I like physical stuff for the most part, but there's a lot of games that I probably would not have bought or would have had to get rid of if I didn't have a digital library. And as a game developer, do you want to figure out a way to make a physical copy of your game? Because I kind of have that urge, man. I kind of have this urge of like going around handing my mixtape people out to people, excuse me. I'd like to sell a physical thing to people. I would like the sensation of here is the game that I made and you can have a copy. Give me $5. Here you go. And it's just on a CD. I know that's a little bit ridiculous in this day and age, but I like that. I mean, I like going even more basic with it. I like going back to the days where people had to type the entire game out. They had to write the code. Like you're just copying code from a magazine to get the game running. I have never done that. I don't know if I would have the patience to do that. But man, I like the idea because then you're so invested in playing that game. Man, you've got to like make sure that you get every character written right, and then you get the game going, and then you're like, oh well, I better get the most out of this because I just put a lot of time into it. It's the IKEA effect, but for video games, which just gave me an idea, right? Maybe we can create a modern version of this. Sorry, the IKEA effect is this idea that you built the furniture so you like it more than you would have if somebody else just, built it, gave it to you, whatever. Like whatever its flaws are, you like to overlook those because you built it. So like, come on, I like it, right? So this concept. Sorry, I get off track very easily. Maybe there's a way to make a game that takes advantage of that without having you type the entire game out in BASIC, right? Maybe there's a game where you can make it yourself in accordance with the instructions that somebody has given you, but it doesn't have to be every single little character. Actually, there are some games that might be a little bit connected to this idea, but it might be worth exploring. Anyway, back to games. I have had the urge, or excuse me, back to playing games rather than developing them. I have had the urge recently by recently I mean today, to get Shadow of War. And I played Shadow of Mordor. It's a good game. Shadow of War I never did get, partially because there was some microtransaction issue with it that I was not happy about. And also it was more expensive and hadn't been on a crazy sale yet. That's the real reason. And I had just finished Shadow of Mordor, so then I was like, well, I don't really want to play the other one right now because I just finished this gameplay loop. Long story short, I didn't pick it up. Now, they did an extremely rare thing, from what I understand, of getting rid of their problematic microtransaction nonsense and their problematic DRM nonsense. They're like, okay, fair enough. Y'all are very mad about this, and it doesn't really add to the game at all, so let's just get rid of it. Cool. So I've been interested in that, I think, because I was watching The Hobbit. The reason I was watching The Hobbit is actually there's no one specific reason. It's great. How's that for a reason? Or sorry, the book is great. I'm not so sure about the movies, man. I've had a copy of The Hobbit, this orange copy. I can see it on my shelf right now. Bigger copy of it, orange cover, big illustrations. Some of them look pretty janky, to be honest. It looks like an old school D&D illustration, but like worse, like an amateur one. But it's got a certain charm to it. Well, when I was at this book sale the other day, I found a copy of The Hobbit that has the original illustrations from Tolkien. I've never seen those before. They're sort of just line drawings, right? They're all just black ink. They're great. I looked at a couple of them. I was like, okay, well, I'm picking this up. Even though I have a copy of A Hobbit, this is beautiful. This is very cool art. And there's a charm to that. There's a charm to looking at this book and going, this is the whole original experience. There's less illustrations, but these illustrations are fantastic, and they're coming from the mind of the creator. And it's not just that, it's that I am physically holding a copy of this person's mind. You know what I mean? I'm holding the thing that came out of them. They created this. Did they make the paper? Did they write the ink on this specific copy? No. But it's a lot closer to me. And there's something essential about that I really like. I don't know that it matters. I don't know that this is something where I can go, oh, the kids these days, they don't understand the feeling of holding a copy of a thing that was made by No, it's not to that level. Now, if Tolkien himself had written every page in ink, or if it was hand bound by the guy who wrote the thing, then now we're reaching a whole different level of the most custom gift in the world. Obviously, that would have a very profound level of meaning to somebody. But just the fact that all the words in the illustrations are in the original format, that it feels like it's got more of the writer's touch to it. Now, I don't think this is the original format. I haven't looked into that. But the fact that it's got the original illustrations made it more meaningful to me. In sharp contrast, I watched the Hobbit movies, the more recent ones, what is his name? It does not matter. You know who I'm talking about. The guy who did Peter Jackson. There it is. Found it. Watched those movies. That's bad. Those are not good movies. I still enjoyed parts of them, right? There's a lot of stuff to enjoy there. And if you like it, good for you. They're good. There are moments that I like. And I did watch them. Right? I enjoyed them despite the fact that I did not like them. I'll put it that way. But man, did they just... they did some rough stuff in those movies. They really, really strayed from the original book and in ways that were very important to me. And I did not like it. But it did make me want to play a Lord of the Rings game. And it did make me want to look into more Lord of the Rings stuff. And I was like, is this just like the effect of nostalgia? It seems ridiculous that it can be that powerful to me. But yeah, there's something about physical, like just a bunch of physical media, man. And I will get into the art and the journaling in the develop section of this episode, by the way. If you're waiting for that, if you're excited about that, somehow I have a feeling that's not most of you. But I assure you, there's some cool stuff going on there. The journaling I highly recommend, actually. It's fantastic. And sketching, too. But I picked up so many books at this book sale. And they're all used, and they've all got like a little story behind them. They've all got wear and tear, and you can take the time to really pay attention to what is going on with each individual book. I tend not to, but it's nice to not have such a pristine experience, to have something that has had a life that you can explore a little bit. You can see the scars, the wear and tear. I don't know, I like it. I like it in the same way that I like a game that's not perfect. I don't want a perfect, smooth experience. Morrowind is not a perfect, smooth experience. There's a lot of bumps in the road. Like, Skyrim's not a perfect, smooth experience, but they took off a lot of the edges that I liked. You know what I mean? There's an era of gaming. No, that's not the way to phrase this. There's a type of game that gives you the quest line, like the how do I put it? The line on the physical screen, like the actual line that you are following for the quest, like the step forward 5 steps, step left 3 steps kind of line. Like you just follow an exact line, a little arrow in front of your character that tells you where you want to go. And then you end up beating the game. And then it gets rid of all the friction, and that can get rid of all the fun. And I feel like, I don't know, that actually has its place. And it's fun sometimes. I don't know. It's nice to just cruise right through it. But these used copies, this physical media, it adds a little bit of that friction in a charming way. I'm not sure that I'm nailing the point here, but I hope that you get a sense of what I mean. The friction to the experience of, I have to make an effort here. I have to take a second, go grab the book, pull it out, open it up, find where I was, go to my bookmark, whatever, put the bookmark. Am I going to sit the bookmark on the table? Am I going to sit the bookmark on a page that is my reading goal for the night? Or like, oh, I need to stop if I get this far because I've gone too far and it's bedtime. Something about it being physically there. You know, you pick up a game, you open it up, there's a little manual in the disc, in the cover of the jewel case. You start installing the game, you pull that out as you're waiting, and you read it a little bit. The instantaneous nature of booting a game up is not that great. Not always. Now, is somebody going to have this same nostalgia one day for the experience of logging into a game? Like, is there going to be a point where people say, man, I miss the days when I had a different account for every game and I could log into my account and I'm a different login, right? Like I'm a different person. I have a whole account, and if that one gets nuked, I create a new one. But now everything is just like one big account. Is that going to be something? I don't know. But a little bit of friction to the experience, I think, is kind of nice. Speaking of friction to the experience, let's talk about things that I've been learning. I've taken to journaling instead of thinking. And I'm putting that in the most, I don't know, maybe over the top manner I can. But instead of thinking through a problem in my head, I don't even, I get a line that I write down somewhere that I then use as a journal prompt. And I go, okay, we're not going to think through this whole thing right now. It's too much. I'm just going to go in a weird spiral about it. We're journaling about it. I've been doing that. And it's been really nice. And I suggest using unconventional tactics like that. Like, I've always thought through things in my head. I've almost been proud of the way that I can think through something. I'm just like, oh, I always have big thoughts going through my head. It's always so interesting in there, and I want to share all my thoughts with everybody. But they don't really get well structured, and they just kind of get looped and repeated. So it's nice to write them down, get them on paper, and spend some time with that. And I suspect that in the long run, that is going to help me structure my ideas for my creative projects. So I'll get out of the habit of just running through everything in my head, and I'll get into the habit of working it out on paper and being able to think through it and structure it and get past certain ideas and get to where the meat really is. Now let's talk about the art side of things, drawing. I have been bad at drawing my whole life. I've done some pixel art. Eventually I got into pixel art. I don't know why, but that was a good entry point for me. So I got into that, and it was nice. And then I remember having one experience where I went to a library. I turned my phone off. I put it away somewhere even. I don't think I had it on me physically. I think I left it in the car. I'm not sure. But it did not cross my mind the whole 2 hours that I was sitting in that library just drawing, just trying to learn to draw very basic stuff. And it was one of the most peaceful, calming experiences that I had had for 2 or 3 years. It was such a nice experience. And I may have even talked about that after it happened. I'm not sure. I think that was during the time that I've been making this podcast, probably. So I've been doing drawing now. I've been working through this book, Fun with a Pencil by Andrew Loomis, old book. And I've been surprised at the progress that I'm making. As a person who has always thought I cannot draw, drawing is a superpower. Drawing is a thing that I cannot even comprehend. I have been very happy to find that I can make progress at it. And the key here, and the reason why I'm talking about drawing at all today, is that it wasn't that hard in the way I thought it was going to be. And the only reason it wasn't that hard in the way I thought it was going to be is because I let go of it being that hard. I let go of this idea that it was going to be a struggle. I let go of this thing of it's so hard, it's so difficult, I have to fight against it, I have to work really hard, I'm going to have to really, really work hard at this. And then instead I'm just going to draw, man. I don't know, whatever. I'll just draw some stuff. And then whenever I had a moment of, oh man, this is going to be so difficult, or I'm doing so bad at this or whatever, I go, whatever, man, you're just drawing. It's not important that you're doing good or bad. Just notice the differences. Notice what you're learning. Notice little things. And it doesn't matter if you do a good job or not. It's just good that you're doing it. That's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. And somehow, those mindsets settled in for me. Somehow it clicked, and I was able to just draw, and now I'm drawing stuff where I look at it and I go, oh, that's nice. I want to do this different and that different, but it's cool, right? And I'm showing them off a little bit, probably more than I should be, because, I don't know, I feel like if I take too much pride in it, it becomes something where if I fail, then I'm not living up to my expectations because I took pride in it, so now I have to be good at it all the time, right? I don't know that pride is necessarily a good thing when it comes to, it involves putting a lot of weight on something that you're passionate about and excited about and want to show off. And I'm trying to figure out how to be excited about something and show it off and be enthusiastic without slipping into pride, because I think those are two very different things. In the same way that I can learn to learn something without doing this aggressive struggle thing that I was doing with art, right? This feeling of I have to try really hard, I have to paddle upstream against the current. Instead, I can go with the current. I can go downstream, and I can direct myself whichever way I want to go, right? and maybe upstream is not actually the way that I learned this skill. Maybe going downstream is the way. In that same way that I can flow with the sensation of learning instead of pushing really, really hard and assuming that that is what learning is, which it's not. I mean, sometimes there are challenges, but this feeling of gritting your teeth, of really like pounding away at it, that's not really effective learning, I don't think. Sometimes there's a similar feeling that happens with memorization. There's a feeling of effort, but that is a different feeling than, how to say, it is a different feeling than I have to do this, gritting my teeth, almost like doing a heavy squat kind of effort, but for your mind. That's a distracting sensation. We don't want a distracting sensation. We want to be focused in and noticing and exploring. So what I'm getting at is that it's easy to confuse the sensation of learning with the sensation of trying really hard. And depending on the situation, one might be getting in the way of the other. Trying really hard might be getting in the way of learning. Or you might be trying really hard for a different result than the result that you actually want. And in the same way that I've noticed that subtle difference, I would like to understand and notice the subtle difference between feeling proud of something and, I guess, feeling excited to share something that I have accomplished. I'm not sure what the word is, because there's something resembling pride that isn't the type of pride that I want to avoid. There's a type of pride where you identify with something, and then there's sort of an acknowledgement almost. There's this sense of, I did this, and that's good. Without going, I did this, and I rule, and I'm the greatest, and I crush at this, and it's just up from here, and I'm one of the best there's ever going to be, and I'm really on my way to something great. There's like that, like to make a caricature out of it very quickly. There's that kind of pride. And then there's this other quiet thing that's just like, I did this thing. It's cool. Check it out. I don't know. I'm happy with it. Satisfaction? I don't know. I can't quite find the word. It might just be satisfaction. But anyway, those are my thoughts about game development this week. It may seem odd that those are my game development thoughts, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about, because the way that I've been enjoying art is the way that I want to enjoy game development. And if I can enjoy art like that, then I think I can enjoy a lot of things like that. I just don't think I've propagated that habit out to other things yet. Because art was always like an intimidating, difficult, I can't possibly do this thing. And now it's a thing that I'm just enjoying. But is it harder to just enjoy the things that you think you're good at, that you think you're supposed to be good at? Like, it might be easier for me to just enjoy art because I expect to suck at it. And I don't really care whether or not I suck at it. But what about something like game dev? What about something that I make a podcast about and released a game and this and that and the other? And like, what about that? What about something that I'm trying to get good at in like a very like a serious way? Is it going to be harder to let go and just enjoy that? I don't know, but I aim to find out. Let's end this episode with a simple question, which is, what's your favorite memory with a physical piece of media? I'm talking something that you plugged in, something where you popped a disc out and put it into the DVD player. Maybe it is a handheld game that you were using. Maybe it's even just the controller that you were using for a game. If you never bought games out of the box, which is wild to me that that's even a possibility, but I guess I'm that old. Maybe it's a book, whatever it may be. what is your favorite experience with a physical piece of media? That's the question for today. And that's everything I've got this week. I will see you all in the next one. Until then, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Bye-bye.